looking ahead to this weekend, you kind of talked about some of the themes after the Seattle game in terms of just needing to have a killer instinct, needing to have the right mentality, not be complacent. The complacency thing is something you mentioned last year as well, particularly on the roads, and I think it's something you had talked about, emphasizing that you don't want that in preseason. Is there anything different you've done with the group this week to try to get that message across and make sure that there's a different mentality at Kansas City?
Like I said after the game, I mean, it's on the players to make sure inside the lines that they're, what I would say, professional. When you're professional, you don't need a coach to motivate you. That's a very talked about thing with especially supporters who haven't been at this level. I even think Popovich, has had a laugh about that when people say, why don't you motivate the players? Players are professionals; they should be motivated every time they take the field. And clearly the coach is always going to try to stimulate the spirit. And I know a part of my job is to make sure that they're inspired. But if you're not inspired as a player, if you're not locked in and focused and alert and switched on for 90 minutes, then over time there's going to be some periods, but then something's wrong, and so we have a very good team. We have a good group of guys that I know are all on board, that want to do something special this year. But I think it's taken getting punished a little bit for them to know that they can't let their guard down. And I think, human nature, no matter what you say or do or how professional these guys are, kicks in sometimes when things are going well, or when maybe you don't smell the danger. So those are messages I give. We watched video again, and we showed the second half. We showed key plays in the second half. The trends that, and the patterns that have to change. But I can't go in the game and play the game. I can give them the guidance, and I can show them, keep the ball, and I can show them, you need to not foul here. I can show them in the last 10 minutes, you gotta, be smarter when the ball goes out of bounds and slowing the game down, or going to corners, or not losing the ball. So those are all things that I'll tell them, but they're all things they know and they accept and they realize. And for me, there's no better time than to try to change this trend, not because we're a bad team right now, but because we want to be a great team, and that's what it's about. And they agree 100%, because they want to be a great team, and they realize that second half in some of the other games, Colorado second half, and a few, you'd say Dallas when we were ahead, a couple times, and even Columbus we were ahead. That if we want to be a great team, you have to, show that mental toughness, and that's individual players, and that's collectively as a group, and it's a combination. It's individuals making sure they make the right decision, the right play, but it's also collective, that feeling that they have, and also it's holding guys accountable. It's internal accountability. And I've been around teams that have it, and this team has it, but we got to show it more, and we got to show it for 90 minutes home and away, and we need to show it whether we're up a goal, down a goal. We need to show it all the time, and that's what I'm going to continue to demand and bring out in this group. And they want to be that type of team, and that's the good news. There's no pushback. They want to be a great team, but they need to suffer a little bit through some lack of results and failing a little bit, I think, in order to finally get that maybe that point across. So I think the best thing that happened was we gave up that last goal. Best thing, because ultimately we could have got through the game, and we could have got 3 points, and then it continues to fly under the radar, and we don't become the team that we want to be. And we don't become a team that's hard and tough and puts our foot on teams' throats and has that killer instinct. And so I've always felt when you have something happen like happened, it's a byproduct of not breaking a pattern. Well, finally we're going to break it, and the players will have an opportunity on the road against a tough opponent to show that, back at home versus the best team in the league, one of them in Chicago, and the proof will be in the pudding. in what they show.
Caleb, can you update us on Darlington and Liam and what their status is?
Yeah, Liam won't be available this weekend. He's not ready. Darlington, questionable. We don't know. We won't rule him out yet, but hasn't trained this week. So he's definitely questionable for the match. We'll know in the next several days. We had some new injuries after the game. Amobi Okugo has an MCL sprain. He's out 4 to 6 weeks. Diego Chara, hamstring strain, out 4 weeks. Jack Barnaby re-injured his calf training yesterday, so he's probably out again another couple weeks. So we're managing a few more injuries, and Guzman's obviously away with Costa Rica for the Gold Cup.
So just talk about how you've been doing this all year, it seems. So is it just another week on the board, especially at center back, where it seems like it's just been a merry-go-round?
Yeah.
How are you keeping guys sharp? Because you talked about the depth and building it in the preseason. I guess how is that competition paying off now, if it is?
Yeah, I mean that's where the depth's tested, obviously, and it's your preparation every single day and every single week, not just with the 11, but everybody, and that's why you prepare for the worst always, and you train, 22 guys to play every single day, and you keep them ready and you keep them sharp, because things like this happen in this league, and you just have to manage it. And you manage it by having guys ready. You manage it by having, good depth. So this is another week where we're going to be thin, and yet we're going to go into the game, and have a group of guys that I know will put their best foot forward, and I believe that we'll have a chance to win the game and get 3 points, even though we have some key guys out.
How does it help, for lack of a better word, that Kansas City's obviously going to be without some key people too, and how does that influence preparation for you?
Yeah, I mean, some weeks it's about, it's less about the preparation, more about getting the lineup right and making good decisions there. And, with this week, we had 20 days without a day off. We had a lot of games on the road. It was a very tough window, and mentally, the results didn't go great. So I want the group fresh in this game. It's another road game. We have another window where we come back on Wednesday. So it'll be less about, kind of grinding them and killing them in training. It'll be more about mentality, watching video, messages, and picking the right lineup. And, we have some things to manage for sure. And holding mid, center back, we're as thin as we've ever been.